Hey Nicole,
Hey Eric,
how are your temperature? I mean, how are your heat parameters right now?
how am I? You mean temperature? It's good.
Hmm.
That's a good inside joke. No, it's good. I am wearing a sweater in the house, but it's pretty good. It is gonna be freezing,
It got cold like that. Like,
and but no snow. If it's gonna be cold, I have to have snow. Like I feel like I don't even like snow, but it's like
yeah,
cold
get
with no
over it.
snow. No, I don't like it.
No, yeah, I'm not in that camp, Nicole. No, I'll take the cold. You can keep the snow. I don't like to slip and slide. I don't want to shovel anything. I will absolutely take a frozen door handle over having to shovel 2, 3 feet of snow. No.
Oh, yeah. I guess I'm not the one shoveling the snow in my house.
Exactly. You get to just sit there and direct. You missed the spot. You
So
missed the
I,
spot.
I make pancakes and then I have hot chocolate and I let everyone else
All
do all the other stuff. That's my job.
right, all right, all right.
Mama Bear job is I'll make some nice homemade pancakes and have hot chocolate ready for you.
Well, then you bring your pancakes over here to Stafford, and yeah, when it snows, I fully expect you to be in the kitchen making pancakes. Cheers.
Yeah, but then I have to drive. I don't want to drive in it. That's a whole other story. Driving in snow I don't like.
There was a snowstorm last year. Was it last year? The big like ice storm where everything got stuck. Everyone got stuck on the 95.
Oh, that was
I missed it
awful.
by like 30 minutes.
You're so lucky because that would have
I,
been the worst story to have to share. Like, I mean, it would have been cool to have a story to share like that, but
it would have been.
cool to experience. I mean, people were there for like 24 hours or something, or at least 18. They were there for a long time.
Yeah, it would have been for me. It would have been like an episode of The Walking Dead. I would have wrapped up, tied like a rag around my head, got a pitchfork, and just started walking through and trying to trek through. And then they would have found me huddled underneath a semi, like just trying to stay warm. Oh, save me!
You're
Yeah, it would have been
abandoning
horrible.
your
Would
car.
not have been a good story.
You're really abandoning your car.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, without a doubt. All right. Anyway, hey, this is the podcast. This is the
Woohoo!
Real Agents Podcast. Welcome to the Real Agents Podcast, a weekly podcast where our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to talk about everything life, real estate, and all that goes on in between. And if you like your advice and insights shaken and not stirred, well, then this is the podcast for you.
I'm Nicole Dash,
And I'm Eric Carrington,
and we
and
are
we are the
the
Real
real
Agents.
agents.
Every time it gets better, Nicole.
I
You're
know.
killing it. We're still not there, but we get a little bit better each time. Right? A little bit. All right. Anyway, um, your husband is the hugest Raiders fan, right?
Yes. It's
And I know we're dating the podcast by saying this, but what was his reaction to that win on Sunday?
So I actually was upstairs and I did not see in live that last play, but he came running up the stairs with his phone to show me because it's like he couldn't believe it and he needed someone else to see it. And he's like, "Oh my God. Oh my God. You have to see this. You will not believe this.
Okay.
You have to see it."
All right, so just to let Martha in Wisconsin, who has no idea what football is, and we're dating the podcast by saying this, but it was a tie score with one play, well, like what, 10 seconds left
Yeah.
in the fourth quarter,
It was
and
like about to go into overtime. Like
yeah, yeah, and New
that
England
was
had the
what should have
ball,
happened. Right.
yeah, and they did this whole like hook and ladder type thing where they keep pitching the ball back and forth, and they
But
fumbled it, right, or was it an
no,
interception?
he threw it. He
Yeah,
pitched it. It got pitched twice. Like so one guy kind of stumbled, threw it to someone else. That guy caught it. He should have just taken a knee at that moment because it was like that was it. But instead, he pitched it back again, but he pitched it to no one, right into the hands of the Raiders player, who then ran it right in for an easy touchdown, and they won the game. And I'm like, why did that guy throw it? I don't understand. He just like it was like hot potato with the football. Like what
it
are
was a
you
panic
doing?
moment. Do you think they put him on a different flight back to New England after that? There's no way
look,
they even let him in the clubhouse.
they make a lot of money to make that kind of stupid mistake. Like, absolutely not. This is a nice school to college.
I don't think he got a paycheck for that game. I think they kept his paycheck. They were like, okay, stupidity check. You don't get paid, brother.
So I'm noticing the light on my face here. So I think I'm going to close my shade. Do you think that's okay? I'm going to connect.
You look like, with that light like that, you look like somebody from the movie Avatar. You look like a Na'vi.
I didn't see it. You saw it, right? Or did you not?
I did.
You did? Okay. I didn't see it. I want to see it. Okay.
Okay. So, do we need to fix your face? Go ahead, fix your face.
Just hold on. You can keep talking. I can hear you.
Keep talking.
It's okay. People will be okay if I do this, right?
Well, let's move on then. This is
real.
The way you're adjusting right now. I like that.
We are adjusting.
Looks good. I don't see any more stripes. You look great.
Okay. We have an adaptive mindset. We are adapting. Okay, here.
And I'm keeping you accountable.
You're going to keep me accountable.
Did you
see
fix
all these little buzzwords from our strategic planning meeting, right? Our vision day, our build day.
What a great meeting. It was awesome. It was very motivating.
It was good. I thought it turned out great. I'm not just saying that because I spoke, but
I know. And you spoke something that my heart speaks to too is adaptability. People don't adapt. It's like they get stuck on rails, and when things deviate even a little bit, they get flustered and they don't know where to go.
Yeah.
And what you spoke to.
Yeah. Right. Well, and I feel like people who can't adapt, sometimes they spend so much time like wallowing in the fact that it's not going the way they planned, that they actually end up never kind of right-siding it. Right. They're just.
Well, adaptability is growth. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it's when you're faced with this adversity, how do you overcome it? How do you adjust and deviate from that course and find a positive outcome? And so many people are resistant to that. And it's a shame when you see someone that's just banging their head against the wall or can't seem to get over that obstacle. Right. And yeah, your story was just awesome. It was amazing. I'm not going to speak to what you spoke to because you can do that. Yeah. But it was just, it was a great way to start the meeting and just really got the energy flowing because your speech was so awesome.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. Yeah. I never know. I kind of black out when I talk. Like, I don't know what I said, honestly. Yeah, I think that went well. And our photographer, Kwang, he took pictures and sent them. And I was scanning them. And one of the pictures was me, holding the microphone on the front. And then I looked at the audience. It was like all the audience. And they were all laughing and smiling. And like one person had their hands like this. And I was like, what was I saying? I didn't think I was as funny. I didn't think I said anything funny.
Everybody was so good. Yeah. I've been asked to speak at a few of those things. And I try to go out of my way to like write a joke or add a joke. But what I thought was cool about this meeting, besides the fact that I didn't have to speak, which was really cool, was that everybody was just so naturally funny. You had some nice little quips because they came from the heart. Trish was hilarious. Yeah. She was fantastic. Peyton, who never speaks, in public like that, was just warm and engaging. And it was just really, really good. It was a neat experience. It was a lot of fun.
Well, good. I'm glad. That's awesome to hear from your perspective because we worked hard on it. And like Peyton, he sent me his speech beforehand and he was so nervous because it was a touching personal story he shared from a family member. And I was so proud of him. It was like, oh, he did a great job.
He did. And you could see his nervousness at the start, which I think added to the story. It just lets you know how personal this was for him.
Yeah.
And yeah, he finished strong.
Yep, he did. It was a good ending. I really thought it was like very motivational.
Yeah, it was. And I think everybody that was there, all the teammates, really it resonated with everyone, and everyone's excited about where our team is going in the future. It's a journey, and I'm excited to be on the team that's going through this into our new building, into a new year. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. I think it's important when you any job you have, any organization you work at, if you have your own business, no matter what you do, to really at least once a year take that moment to kind of, plan out what you want for the future and really set your goals in order to get there, right? Because things don't just happen. You have to make plans, work towards them, and then when things happen that you don't plan for, adapt, right? And you have to adjust, and then you keep going, and that's how, like you said, you grow. So I think it's important, and I love that we did that as an organization. And I think that in real estate, especially since there's so many independent individual agents, I'm not sure how many of them are doing those kinds of things, are actually like taking stock and thinking beyond the transaction. And so I think that's important.
I think you touched on something. I think that's why there's so many real estate agents that just, I don't want to say aren't successful. It's just they don't have that support. They don't have that drive and those people behind them to kind of push them along the way, to help them when they stumble. Being a part of a team is, I think, the most important part of my success as a real estate agent. I'll just say it. Having the ability to ask questions of colleagues that I, really respect and trust, and get answers that I know are going to be legitimate and real and based on real life experience is so important and so awesome. And I just don't know how individual agents, can be successful year in and year out. Where's who is handling the accountability? We're able to do that as a team because we could turn to our teammates and ask them to push us. But when you're alone, I know I couldn't function that way.
Yeah. I mean, some people really thrive. It's like the people who thrive working at home versus being in an office, independent, but you do, in order to push yourself to the next level, you need at least one or two other people to bounce those ideas off of, it's like trying to get in a workout plan, right? Or exercise plan.
What's that?
Right? Like you get on a new health kick or whatever, but you really all of a sudden have a little bit of the pressure on when you tell someone you're doing it, right? When you start sharing it with people, because then you're like, wow, I can't not do it now, right? Like it's easy to be like in your head, on Monday, I'm going to start this program, not telling you when Monday comes, you're like, next Monday I'm going to start. No one's holding you accountable. Like you need that sometimes.
All right. So what about finishing up the year? Besides the accountability and having someone to, push you along the way, what are you doing personally to finish the year strong? I mean, look, we're dating our podcast here. We dated it with the football game. We're at the end of the year, a couple of weeks left, a couple of days left. Ooh. What did you do?
Soon. Very soon. So finishing up the year strong, you know what? I'm trying to balance, I'm trying to carve out some really good quality time with my family, but I'm also carving out time for my clients that are planning on going on the market early January 23. So yesterday I met with a really great couple. They are moving to Sarasota to a 55 and older community.
Oh, wow.
And they're building a new house that'll be ready in March, like end of March. And so we are planning on going on the market that first or second week of January. And I've been at their house like 3 different times already. And they're so cute because, we went through room by room last time. And I said to them, okay, remove this furniture, take this artwork down, keep that one. We did just like a little consult, right? And so I went yesterday and they were like, thank you so much for pushing us. We would never get this done if we didn't have you telling us what to do. And he joked and he's like, she never listens to me. But when I say Nicole says, Nicole says, I was like, I like that. Nicole says.
It's motivational.
It's motivational. So that's what I'm doing. I'm really checking in with the clients that are about to go on the market in January, getting it all ready so that we can just rock and roll with the new year. Really hoping that, buyers come out in force and that they're like, it's their New Year's resolution to buy a house, and I'm there. That's what I'm hoping, because we need that right now. We need more buyers, and we need really like strong buyers, so that, well, I think that because I'm trying to sell houses. So I'm trying to look at you too, but and come to my listings and compete. Yay, that's what I want. That's what I want.
Competing.
I want that. Push my price.
I'm kind of doing the same
You're
things.
on the other side. You're on the other side.
Yes, I'm the exact opposite. I don't want to push the price. I need a discount. I need you to pay my closing cost. I need no competition, and I need to get in early before you go active. There you go.
Oh, okay. I have a couple of those that you could do, but they're not. They don't fit your parameters. They don't.
No, right now they don't. So I'm doing kind of the same things, making a lot of phone calls to my folks that, I met and said they're going to wait till the next year, just trying to keep them motivated, and find out what they're thinking about, when they're trying to decipher what's going to motivate them for the next year, and the only way you can do that is through conversations, is through, pressing the flesh, talking with them. I'm still going out, looking at houses. Went out yesterday with a young couple that their plan is to purchase early part of next year, but they're first-time home buyers and they're fairly new to the area. So they don't know the community that they want to be in. So that's what we're doing, is we're just checking out areas. We're going around, we're looking at neighborhoods, we're stopping for hot chocolate, and then we're getting back in the car and checking out another neighborhood. We started in Fairfax yesterday, went to Springfield, and then ended up in Chantilly. So, I mean,
wow.
we put some miles on
area.
It was, traffic was terrible. Oh my God. But same thing. Just not only trying to keep my clients motivated, but kind of keep myself motivated, because this is really easy to just kind of lay back and, eat pumpkin pie and think about Christmas, right?
Yeah. Well, and I feel like I've had years where I was like, I'm turning off these last 2 weeks. The kids are off of school. Like, I am just not going to, I'll answer phone calls and stuff, but I'm not going to make extra appointments. This year feels different for me, partly because I took a break when I had the baby, and then partly because the market has shifted. I'm feeling a little like hungrier, right? I'm like, I need X more to be able to get to my goals, right? I have lots of goals for next year, and I need to start the year off strong, and that means ending strong. So this year.
Well, I don't want to get into your goals, but that is, I do really want to know what your goals are for next year, but I don't want to ask you on this one.
Okay.
We'll say that for another
We'll talk about it.
Right. I want to share a little story. My wife, Felicia, is absolutely a type A personality, and anything that has a deadline, she gets it done weeks, months, sometimes years in advance, right? That's just her personality. If it's due in October, we're going to get it done in April. All right. Yeah. Anyway, so our home warranty is going to be up next year, early part of next year. So she had me shopping for home warranties. And just, we always used to go with American Home Shield? Is that
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But we haven't called them in a couple of years. And as a matter of fact, there's been times where we could have called them and we didn't, just because the experience hasn't been awesome.
Yeah.
So I was calling around and looking on the internet, and I found this one company. I'm not even sure if I should talk about them, but what the hell? Maybe they'll be a sponsor. It's called Choice Home Warranty, right?
Okay.
Now check out this deal. You tell me if it makes sense. 6 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. $3,400.
Oh, you can make me do math.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
$65 fee per call. Right? So right off the top, that's like $400 a year, plus only a $65. Where with American Home Shield, it was like $695, and $100 per call.
But it was only a 1-year commitment.
And it was a 1-year commitment.
Right.
And you couldn't cancel it. With this deal, you can cancel it at any time. You're not locked in for the 6 years.
Yeah.
You can cancel it at any time. Covers everything inside the house, all the plumbing inside the house, all the electrical inside the house, all the appliances, all the major appliances. And we added an extra refrigerator, and we added the swimming pool.
Oh, so wait,
Right?
okay, now you've got me, because I'll be honest with you, one of these people that are like, warranties, they're not really, because I've had bad experiences where I would call them and then the cost out of pocket was not that different, and then they would just fix it like shoddily. They wouldn't replace, they would just fix it, and it would just like keep breaking, and I have to keep so like I have this like opinion like home warranties are good for the first year you live in a place, not for long term. But you believe in home warranties, like you think it's a good idea.
I do. I wasn't the biggest fan of American Home Shield because a couple of times we called them and the subcontractor they used was trash. I don't know how else to say it. They either showed up and didn't fix it, or showed up, said they were coming back and never came back, that kind of thing. So we let it lapse. But we pretty much used it every year that we had it, except for the last couple of years because, they kind of dropped the ball. And when I was doing my research and reading the customer reviews for Choice Home Warranty, they were really strong. They talked about how the response time was very quick, the customer service was fantastic, the follow-up was good, and those are the three things you want to know. That do they answer the phone when you call? Do they do the work they say they're going to do, and is the work done to a satisfactory level? And you're always going to see some negative comments on things, but the bulk of the comments were positive. And then when I spoke to the customer service rep on the phone going over it, I just got that vibe, that it didn't seem like a scam. Now,
wow.
I'm a salesperson, and I don't know if you realize this, but salespeople are the easiest people to sell to. So,
right.
I listen to every pitch, and I'm always in. Yeah, great, you got me.
Are you really? Okay, hold on. I don't know if I'm the easy. I feel like I know that I'm being sold, and like I'm like good technique. I can appreciate it, but I'm not necessarily sold right away. Okay.
Oh, I am 100%.
You're done. You're like you're 100%.
Yeah. Don't approach me with a set of knives and give me a deal because I'm like, ooh, knives? I need knives. Yes. Oh yeah, no.
Nice.
It was so the Choice Home Warranty, and I ask you to look it up. They seem like they're great. It started out, I think it was $3,800, and then we just talked about it, and he gave me that line where hello, agents. Remember, your mission is to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to check us out on Anchor, Spotify, soon to be Apple Music, and anywhere else you can plug us into your ear holes. Check us out. We're here for you. And we're back. Woo! All right. Had a little technical difficulty, but what I was saying was, he had a great pitch. He had an awesome script, and the guy, I rewarded him because he was fantastic. And not only was his pitch great and his script great, but the service seemed like I was getting a lot for my money, and the add-ons weren't astronomical.
All right, tell me about the pool. I want to know because we both have pools.
Yeah, so
I want to know what they can do.
So the pool, it didn't really go up too much. I think it added like an extra $200 overall to the cost for the 6 years, but it includes all the plumbing, all the plumbing, the pump, the heater, but it does not include stuff in the water. So
Okay.
it doesn't include the lights,
Okay.
and I don't think it includes and I keep getting this word
The
wrong.
coping. The
The
coping.
coping, yes,
Yeah.
doesn't
The
include that.
coping and all that, like, which we need to find like a really good person to help us next year with some of that. But so like if your pump or your heater
Yes,
breaks or leaks, you can call them
yes.
and then they'll send someone out.
$65,
And
which is also the lowest service fee that I've ever seen.
that's great. So no matter what, it's just $65.
$65, repair it or replace it if necessary.
Okay, that's actually really good. I'm gonna look into it. I don't know why I've been resistant. I have like my dad's voice in my head saying like warranties are a ripoff, like about everything. But maybe that's not the case. And
I'm that guy too. I don't typically do service agreements. Like when you buy something, it's like you can add a 2-year service agreement for
right.
$50. Nah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But with the home warranty, I do dread, if the hot water heater breaks, which happened in my old townhouse, and that was a chore with the old home warranty company. They fixed it,
Right.
but a 19-year-old hot water heater, and they fixed it. They didn't replace it. I thought
That
that
was
was
my problem with it, right? That was why I decided to forget it because it was like if something like major like that breaks, you probably have to replace it. Like fixing it, a 20-year-old thing, but
well, to their defense, they fixed it and it worked. So,
mm,
I mean,
that's good for
yeah, but I just thought at 19 years old, it probably should have been replaced. I
yeah,
don't know.
exactly.
Bottom line is they're an insurance company.
Yeah.
So, they're going to try to watch their overhead and their bottom line, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. What about you? You got any great stories for me last week? Anything awesome happened in your world?
In my world, no, but I did want to talk. We can talk a little bit about your I want to hear about getting stood up.
Oh,
Yeah, we can talk about that. So our time is precious, right? I mean, you as a buyer agent, you're like meeting clients, taking them to places. For me, when I meet with clients, I'm going into their home for the first time, right? That's my appointments are in their home. Usually, before they've done any work, they want to talk about the whole sales process, like how it works. They're interviewing agents, they're trying to find the right person to help them sell. And so we have a great team, great inside sales department, the ISAs that, can set appointments occasionally. They're calling old leads, they're getting them warmed up. And so I went on an appointment. I was sent on an appointment. This was like a few weeks ago. And the appointment was all the way for me. Well, for you, it would have been fine, but it was in Aldi. No, that would have been far from you too, right?
would have been far from me too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like for me, from us, from our main office, it's
Like
what
an hour.
45 to an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's out there. And I was kind of like annoyed that I was being sent, but I'm hungry, right? I'm like, I'll go anywhere. Send me anywhere. So I drive there. No one's there. I knock on the door. I called beforehand to confirm. They didn't answer, but I still had the appointment. I'm going to show up, right? Unless they tell me otherwise. Called, emailed, nothing. Showed up, waited, knocked, called, waited. Finally, I left. And then we got like the text or the email 2 days later. Oh, sorry. We went with another agent.
What?
Yes. How awful is that? That's awful.
Holy smokes.
Like, how hard would it have been to send that text or email before I went to their home?
Did the top of your head blow off? Did the top of your head like explode?
Yeah, no, yes, because it was like that's gas, time, energy. My little baby is with my mother-in-law, right? I'm like, just, and then I'm like, were they hiding inside? Right? Were they home but hiding, or were they really not home? Because they knew they weren't going to work with me. So that's why they didn't let me in. It's not like, oh, I forgot, right?
That's like heart-wrenching. It's so irresponsible and rude. Rude from a standpoint, all it takes is a phone call or a text.
That's it. That's it.
Or if you're there, answer the door.
I feel like my intuition tells me they were there. Like they were there. They were like hiding as I knocked on the door, calling, not answering. It would have been so easy just to send me a text. Like there's no communication, like hearing my voice or anything. But
That's a shame. Time is so important. You don't get it back.
yeah,
And that time you wasted, going out there and putting forth an effort, it's just lost. It's gone.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
gone.
you can't in that situation, you can't even salvage it. You
Yeah.
can't do something else. You know.
No. Well,
So I had a similar,
yeah, go ahead, tell me
but
what's yours.
well, a similar situation where I got a referral lead, which is always awesome, spectacular. And this lady called me. We talked for a good while, and she wants to see townhouses starting. I mean, she's looking anywhere. She needs to find a location, but she knows she wants a townhouse. She knows she's buying in that mid to high fours. So we set up through our conversations. We set up like 5 potential homes to go see. So the night before we're scheduled to go out, I send her this list, and when you send it through Bright, you can see when someone opens it and looks at them. So I could see she opened it and looked at them. I try to follow up with a phone call, and she says she's busy, but she'll let me know what she thinks of the list. I follow up with a text, and I say, okay, I have to make these appointments. Let me know what you think. Which ones would you like to see? Which ones can we pass on? And she sends me, of the 5, she says they all look great. So I say, okay, let's plan to meet at 10 a.m. and we'll meet at the first property, and I'll make the appointments. I make all the appointments that morning. I get up at 8:30, something like that. Now it takes me an hour to drive there, at least. In the traffic on Sunday, traffic's going the wrong way. So it was actually, I think it was like an hour and 15 minutes. So
Wow.
I text her to let her know, hey, I'm on the way. Let me know if you're going to be late. Nothing. As I'm driving, sitting in traffic, just want to make sure you have the right address. We'll see you when you get there. Nothing. I get there. I'm about 10 minutes early, so I go in the house just to turn lights on and see what it looks like, so I can speak to what I'm looking at. And I text, hey, I'm here, I'm inside, just knock on the door, come on in. Nothing. 10:15. Nothing. 11 o'clock, still nothing. I've already left. I've gone to the next one. So
okay.
I'm assuming that, okay, I'm stood up, but I'm still going to keep these appointments because I need to see these places anyway. So I'm previewing them. I don't get a text until like I think it was more like 12:30. I was on the 3rd house or something. And it wasn't even, hey, I'm sorry. I got tied up or I forgot. It was just not a good day. Let's try to do this next week.
What? Oh, wow.
Let's try to do it next week.
Are you going to meet her the following week? Or she burned it? Like, how does that work? Because pardon me, I mean, I know we're supposed to be like, sure, but like inside, I'd be like, okay, lady.
We did have a come to Jesus. It started over text. It was like, listen, I understand if you had issues or something that came up, but I have to know these things because my time is important too. I put other things on hold in order to take you out, and now I have to reschedule things in order to fit your schedule. Please, in the future, let me know if you're not going to be available. So look, to make a long story short, I'm going to give this particular client the benefit of the doubt this one time. And if it happens again, I think that's where we sever ties. I mean, because your time, my time is much more important than, having to deal with something like that. It's just, it's not fair. It's not fair at all.
It's like an abuse a little bit because like I get it if she was just like a random that called and was like, hey, I want to see this one house, right? And they don't show up. Okay, but she set an entire day's worth of appointments with you and confirmed. And so the fact that she just didn't even have the consideration to be like, I'm so sorry, it's not a good day. before the day started. I mean, it's so crazy. It's like, what did
It
mom
was,
do?
yeah, it was more like I don't expect. I guess I did expect an apology, just something like, "Hey, something happened, I couldn't do it."
Right.
Yeah, you're right. When you get a call from an ISA, "Hey, this person wants to see this one house," there's a 30% chance that person's not going to show up.
Hmm.
But we had conversations, we talked, we approved, I think what a lot of buyers think is when they say, "Hey, I want to see these houses," that the houses are waiting for you to come look at.
Right.
They're just sitting there like, "Oh, let's go." But no, there's coordination that's involved.
Yeah.
People have to leave.
Right.
I always think about that. I think like I get anxiety when I know we're running 30 minutes late. Is
Yeah.
that weird?
That's
It's
good.
just
I mean, listen, at least you're thinking about it because that means you have a heart. There are people, I have clients that have been home, like elderly clients that they get the notice, we've coordinated a time for them to see their home and they don't even drive, right? So they have to coordinate to go to the neighbor's house or to have someone take them. And then it's either a no show or they're running behind. So by the time they get back, then they show up, right? And it's like you don't know. That's really painful when that happens for my clients. Just
yeah, and I don't, obviously buyers don't realize that. And I think as agents, we can get complacent and start to fall into that too. Like, it really doesn't matter. Oh, so what? We're a little bit late. They want to sell their house. They'll be okay with it. No, you got to respect people's time. You got
right.
to respect, if you are running late, it's in your best interest to, send a text or send a call or just go into your showing times and try to adjust your time. Because it is hard to do like a 6 home search. I don't like doing it because I try to do 30 minutes per house.
Right.
And, hopefully you're only 10 minutes between houses, so sometimes you just go over. And by the time you're at that last house, chances are you're going to be late.
Right.
So, I try to stay up on it because you never know. That's why I do this trick where I try to put the vacant houses at the end. So,
That's
if you're
smart.
late,
Huh.
do that.
See,
I got
you
lots of
got all
tricks.
the tricks of the trade. That's a
I got
smart
all the
idea.
tricks.
That's
Yes.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, because the vacant houses, who cares if you're late? But no,
Right.
those houses where people are living in, you gotta make sure you're on time. You gotta let people know. And if you're not gonna be there, you gotta tell people.
You just a simple text or call to the other agent is much appreciated. Like I can communicate with my clients like, hey, just so you know, they'll probably be here closer to 1 instead of 12:30. And then they can adjust their schedule accordingly because especially like I said, the ones that it's a big deal to leave the house. It's a big deal. I had this one elderly client. He was so cute. His name was Daniel. He was in his late 80s and he lived alone and he was going to go move with his across the country with his son because he couldn't be living alone anymore. Did not drive anymore, no car. And so when people would come, he's like, I'm gonna take a walk. But I learned very quickly that he was not really taking a walk. He'd like take a step outside and he's like the nice old guy, and people would talk to him and then he'd show them around all the things I'm like, don't do. He'd show them around the house. And but it was fine. Everyone was very nice and we got it sold pretty quickly, but you never know.
I typically don't like it when the seller is there at the house. But
No, I don't
sometimes
like
it
it
is a
either.
wonderful thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes it is really nice.
Sometimes it's nice, but no, I don't want my seller there because they talk too much, right? Like, don't tell the potential buyers that there used to be this leak. Because once you fixed it, you don't have to tell them there was a leak. But, 9 times out of 10, that's the first thing they're telling you. Like, oh, yeah, over there in that corner, yeah, it used to leak, we fixed that. But now
Oh,
it's in their head that it
we
leaked.
had one lady tell us when we were looking at the yard and how pretty it was. She told us how they buried all their dead pets in the backyard.
Yeah, no.
We did not write on that house.
No.
My client was like, there is no way we're ever playing in that backyard. Let's go to the next house.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, okay, weird. I know we're gonna just shift really quick.
I love it.
You know what I'm gonna say, right? Harrison on our team, one of our team members, amazing agent, been around for a
Yes.
long time. We were
Killer.
talking about what criteria clients are looking for, right? We were talking about that. And he said he has clients who don't want a house that's in a trust, period. And the theory is because
Someone died there?
someone maybe died there, which doesn't make any sense because people put
No.
it in a trust who are young, even like just because that's a smart financial decision to protect your assets. But I thought that was interesting. Like, have you ever worked with a buyer that's like, I want to make sure that no one has died in this house?
No.
No, no.
I guess that was the closest when we found out that there were dead animals there was a pet cemetery in the
Pet
backyard.
cemetery.
Yeah, no, that seems short-sighted, foolish, and churlish.
Yeah.
I don't.
Are you saging? Do you sage when people buy?
No, but what I do now, this is real, and clients always ask me why I do it. Whenever I open the door to a house, I knock really loudly and I say, hello, bienvenido, hello, and just try to make sure we're in there alone. Because there's been times I've walked into a bedroom and there's
Oh,
someone sleeping,
oh my gosh.
even on tour. What was tour yesterday? No, tour's
Yeah.
yesterday. I don't know if you heard about this. Our
No.
team goes on tour, and we went to a house yesterday, and I wasn't the first one through the door, so I
Mhm.
didn't do my knock, hello, 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 but just go into the bedroom, and this lovely man was just getting out of the shower.
No. Like,
Yes,
no.
yes,
What?
we both freaked out.
Was
Yes,
he
now
like,
thank God it was me
and
because if it was if it
was
was
he
any
like, was he wearing a towel at least?
okay. All I saw was like he stuck his body out of the bathroom. So I saw the top half, which had no clothes on it. So I'm going to assume the bottom half was probably the same.
That's
But
awful. But he had to have
he
had
was
notice
surprised.
that we were coming because we have a time frame, like 11. Was it before 11?
No, no, it was like 12.
That's
Yeah, I look, he had the time frame. I think he just wasn't ready. He was moving slowly. But he
wow.
did not expect us. And I guess one of our teammates, Joe, was the first one through the door, and he didn't knock loudly, or he did. He said, but the guy was probably in the
Right, he
shower.
was in the shower. He didn't hear it.
Could
Ooh.
you imagine that though, walking out of your shower and there's a scary looking
Well,
guy?
and our team is big. So like when we do our tours, like what you have to understand when I explain to my clients that we're going to have a team tour, I'm like, it's the SWAT team descending because it used to be that we all drove together. Now I think it's a little more staggered, right? Are you
Yeah,
back to
yeah.
driving together?
Well,
So
not fully back, but yeah, it's a little more staggered.
yeah, it's a little more. So we would all like have our morning Tuesday meeting, and then we get in our cars and we go visit all the homes that are about to go on the market or thinking about going on the market. And it can be anywhere from one home to like I think as much as 13 homes, right, in one day that we go visit. And it's all the buyer agents, some of the listing agents, and we are like in multiple cars, all pulling up, parking, getting out, walking through a house, and then walking out. And it's intimidating and it's kind of cool because then neighbors will be like, "What's happening? Who are you guys?" You know,
Oh yeah.
it's a cool thing, but I love it. I think it's a great value that our team offers that other people don't because then we get feedback, ideas on pricing. But can you imagine the SWAT team descending and you're like getting out of the bathroom?
Just that dude freaked out and well
Is it?
deserved. And he was not thrilled. He wasn't happy. Now, I did my best to smooth it over, made a couple of jokes, and I said, listen, I can take my shirt off too if it makes you more comfortable.
You did not.
He didn't want to see that.
Did
No,
you
but
really say you didn't say that? You didn't say
of course I did. I try to find the most inappropriate thing to say and then just say it. Yes. He
that.
appreciated it.
Oh my gosh.
Now and then
Wow.
later on that day, I'm out showing in Chantilly, and it's our last house of the day. and knocked on the door. Hello, hello. And then when I opened the door, there's like stuff everywhere. And not like stuff from like days ago. It was like stuff from like 5 minutes ago kind of thing, And I'm screaming like a bag with half the items taken out, like a grocery bag. And then I poked my head around the corner. I could see in the kitchen the dishwasher was open. So I keep like, hello, 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 and no one's hearing me. So I'm like, okay, something's going on. Someone's here. And my clients are behind me. And I'm walking around and I look and there's a teenager surfing the internet. And I like, what do I do here? Because if I say something too loud, I might scare him. He could freak out, So I tried to be like very calm and like quiet because you don't know how people are going to react.
Right, exactly.
And then this is obviously I could see it wasn't someone, older than 20 years old. So now, and then I got a little worried. I was like, checking my phone. Are we here at the right time?
Are you in the house?
Well, I figured it had a lockbox. It had to be the right house.
It had to be the right house.
Early, am I late? But lo and behold, the kid was searching the real internet and not, bad stuff on the internet.
Right.
That was
didn't catch him.
And two, he freaked out a little bit. So maybe mom and dad didn't tell him we were coming. But the house is a disaster anyway. So we only stayed there for 5 minutes and then got the heck out. But it's scary sometimes going into these houses. You don't know what you're going to see. So you always have to make it aware that you're in the house. You got to make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
I've heard stories where, I probably shouldn't talk about them. But people were doing things in the house and you show up with your clients.
They were very unprepared for visitors in private ways. Yes. I've heard those stories too. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Oh, I want to know whose house it was. I'm so curious. I'm like, which listing house was it?
Ross has one of those great stories. One of our teammates, Ross, he walked in and there was it was a vacant house too.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's a little bit crazy.
Right? Yeah. There's and it might have been a squatter, he said. He thinks it was a squatter.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoying the house.
Enjoying everything about the house.
See, as a listing agent, I don't know how you deal with it, but as a buyer's agent, sometimes like I'm pretty secure and I don't get spooked often, but sometimes I get a little sketched out on where I'm going and when I'm going. Do you ever get that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay. So there have been a couple of times where I've been in homes that were vacant and like the owners were overseas and it was a rental. And then they were like, hey, check it out for me. I want to sell it. Right. So I've had those situations where, it doesn't have a signpost out. It's not for sale. It's just vacant. And I go in and I quickly lock the door behind me. Right. Because like the second I don't want to leave it open and then someone like come in behind me. I'm just, being also a woman like going alone in these houses. Sometimes it's scary, And so I've had that, but I've had instances where I'm going blind. I mean, think about it. People are calling. They're like, I want to sell my house. Send someone over. It's not active. There's no like knowledge that this house is like available, right? It's not a public listing. And so I'm going into this house, meeting people, strangers for the first time. And there've been like, I can think of one specific example where as soon as I pulled up, I was sketched out and I was like, and I walked in and I just got a really bad vibe the whole time. And like, it was kind of like a hoarder feel house where literally he's like, take a seat. And I looked at the couch and I didn't know where I could sit. Like there was nowhere to sit. And then he like kind of like rushed off some magazines and he's like, sit there. That's where my wife sits. I was like, okay. And I sit and we're talking. And then he's like, so do you want to see the house? Sure. And I'm like, it's scary. I have like bad juju, like bad vibes. And so I'm like making sure he's walking in front of me the whole time. So he's giving me the tour, but I won't go up the stairs first. I won't go down the stairs. I'm like, you go ahead, show me. gripping my phone. It it does sometimes. It's a little bit scary, but fine guy. It was fine. It worked out okay. But it's that moment.
It usually works out. Yes, it usually works out, and it's more of an anxiety thing.
Yes.
It's always an anxiety thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've had instances where I'm out previewing without my clients, and or having to see a house because my client's someplace else, and it's getting dark, where I have to pump myself up to go downstairs in the basement.
Oh, yeah.
I make sure I have a flashlight ready, and it's like, especially in Fairfax Station, those big houses out there, and sometimes it's an unfinished basement, and it's always dark, and you're looking down the steps.
Are you knocking on the basement door?
Oh, I'm making as much noise as possible.
Out of the way, I'm coming. Whatever spirits you are, clearly.
I know it's not ghosts. I know it's not spirits. Yes, but I don't know what else is down there. There's some reality horror. There's horrors in reality. There could be a golem or a really rabbit opossum or something. There could be bats. You never know.
Rats?
No, bats. Oh, okay, rats too. Rats and bats.
Bats up in the attic, rats in the basement.
All I know is sometimes I get scared. I get scared.
You get scared.
Anyway, and on that note, this has been a fantastic year working with you, Nicole. Absolutely. I have really, truly enjoyed your company.
I'm loving recording these podcasts, and I'm so excited because we are in 2023 officially. This is like episode 7 we're recording. We are officially launching to the broader public. So we have like a good stockpile, and we're going to have like a great, awesome launch, right, Mr. Producer? I'm so excited. So if you're new to this and you're hearing this, like, subscribe, follow, because we want to have as many people hearing it. We're putting a lot of time and energy into this, and our time is valuable, like we talked about today.
Yes.
It's important that you support us and, follow us, like us, make a comment, 5 stars, review, all the good things. But I'm so excited because we're at the end of this year and all good things to come.
Right? 2023 is going to rock.
It's going to be awesome.
I think we're all going to make big strides in 2023. Lots of money, lots of sales, lots of new additions. Who knows? We may have another baby.
Not me. I'm not having a baby.
All right, I just threw that out there.
Talk to Felicia about that.
As my wife would say, that ship has sailed.
I thought that ship had sailed, but no, that ship has definitely sailed now. Thank goodness.
Well, again, God bless you. God bless your family. Have a wonderful holiday. Thank you for being a part of this with me. It really has been a joy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm so excited and grateful for you and grateful for our producer, Mr. Producer.
Yeah.
No links on the screen, I promise. But thank you.
Wait, he's not going to do anything up there?
I know. Right there and there and there. No, don't do it. No. But it's been a great experience so far, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so come back next week, folks. For Real Agents of Fun.
Real Agents of Change.
And Real Agents
of Real Estate.
Holy shit! Excuse me. We have
Now he's gonna have to put the explicit the E next to it. No.
See you later.
Take care.